Hey everybody, it's Romania Black, and guess what? We're starting season 2 of March Comes In Like a Lion. Yeah! I couldn't wait. I watched episode 22 the other day, and I was like, I definitely am going to wait until a couple more comments come through for next week, but I was like, I can't wait because we just ended off, episode 22 was a perfect ending to that season. Just wrapped everything up in a nice little bow, tied it off, went, there you go, there you go. And so I was like, that's so awesome. I was so excited, but we're already on to season 2 now, if you can believe it. It feels so weird being halfway through the anime at this point, and I hope that they make a season 3, but at the very least, I'm really excited to be here, so yeah. But so we have a new school year has started. Ray is now a second year, and they've started a new shogi / science club with the science club to keep them afloat, and also have the shogi club. I love Hayashida's reasoning behind it, is because Hayashida, he wants Ray to feel some sort of inclusion at his high school, and right now Ray doesn't really feel that. So Hayashida's like, well, you're obsessed with shogi for one reason or another, and if you need that shogi to help make your life feel normal, then we'll just add it to the high school curriculum in the form of this club. And I like that it's a way for Hayashida to remain by Ray's side this year, because I feel like Ray's going to need Hayashida. Hayashida as an adult is the exact type of an adult figure that Ray needs. That whole, I need an adult. Hayashida is the one for him, because he understands Ray. He also is different from Ray, so even though he understands him, he offers a fresh and new perspective to help Ray think and see things in a different way, kind of like Shimada does and Nikaido does. And I think that Ray being around these other perspectives helps to make him a better person and realize that the worldview he has is maybe not necessarily the worldview everyone else has. I feel like, thinking about that, him and Kyoko, it kind of becomes this toxic situation, because Kyoko and him kind of have a similar worldview about how bad the world is. And so they're not good around each other because they just feed that toxicity, right? Whereas Hayashida and Nikaido and Shimada are all fairly optimistic people, and they view the world slightly different than Ray, so they give him a whole new perspective to be like, oh, well, maybe the world isn't as doomy and gloomy as I think it is. It's just me. So, in any case, I'm super excited to dive into this episode 23, and see what we get. Before we start, I want to give a real quick shout out over onto Patreon as well as YouTube. I want to thank everybody on YouTube that subscribes to the channel. Thank you so much. Thanks to everyone on Patreon, no matter what tier you're in, for subscribing and helping to support me in this channel. It helps me do these reactions, and I really appreciate it. But also a special thanks to our philanthropy tier, because they get special shout outs in my videos. So I want to give a shout out to Alex Cornejo, to Anime Annie, to Be Happy, to Bryant Reed, to Dana, to Destiny Marie, to Danger Zone, to Devorin, Danny Don Mai, as well as Dana, as well as Damage3245, Ichu, as well as Faisho, Eric, El Freya, Ghostly Turnip, Lyndon, Matthew Palfinier, Murphew, Nameless Monster, Nicholas, Sunspots, Shimoyama, Translucent Men, and Trails. Thank you all so much for your support. I greatly appreciate it. All of my love. So yeah, I'm super excited, y'all. I had some coffee from this morning still around. I was like, I'm gonna just keep it up here and drink it and give myself a dose of caffeine. Not that I need it for this series, but you know, what can we do? Also, to make sure I've got the Japanese subs going into this, because for some reason this lovely this lovely streaming service wants to start me off with English, and I'm like, what we doing? So we're not gonna worry about that. But let me take a sip. And we'll be ready to go. So we are going to start March Comes In Like a Lion, episode 23 for season 2, episode 1. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. A new OP. I'm so excited. A new ED. I'm even more excited. Oh, I love the light hitting the alarm clock. I like that he has the bed folded out. He's not sleeping on the futon on the floor. Oh, it's so pretty. Dude, you got primo, like, riverside property. Take advantage of that shit. May, so we got a month to go. Yeah, I don't recoil from the wind. Love it. Nice. Still the storm. Still the storm. Nice. C1 fifth dawn. 18. Oh, wow. Oh, the animation kicked up a little bit in its sleekness. I'm assuming we're still Shaft Studios, though. All right. Pick yourself up, Ray. Dust yourself off. Oh, love it. Oh, wow. This animation's really clean. There is a small part of me that likes the roughness of season 1 Shaft, but this is very smooth. Ooh. And this feels like the same artist as the OP from part 2 of season 1. Is this music anime all of a sudden? Oh, and him running across the water? Nice. Oh, and the sisters. Is he, like, running towards them? Aw. Hina gonna get some... Aw. Him gripping it. What is he, like, grasping a hold of to hug? Is it, like, their warmth or their presence? Setting sun. A private high school, eh? Was this Star Wars? This is Star World, but... The art style! Yeah! Former homeroom teacher. Is he trying to grade? Oh, I love the shadow, like, setting there. Oh. Oh. I didn't realize defeat could be this painful. What is with Hayashida? Oh, yeah. I mean, with science experiments, even a loss is kind of like, oh, well, we'll just try at it again. A feisty night will eat me. Oh, nice. These are his own cards. I was gonna say, I don't think Ray made them. Huh. Right. That's why it's difficult. Yeah. Aww. Ray's like, you basically just described... There's no end to it! You've described my eternal struggle! Right. Wow. Oh my god, Ray. Ray as a teacher is kind of scary. Right. Oh, yeah. I like that we're still going with Nikaido's demonstration with the Shogi. Oh my god, the animation of that slap. He's like, yeah, you're right. This 3D mixed with 2D animation. Oh my god! Right. Oh my gosh. Hilarious. It's the eternal theme. Hi, Ishida, what are you doing? Oh my god. He wants to be this guy online. I'm teaching students. You think on your own, advisor. Cheating is wrong. Ah! Oh my god. Hilarious. That's so funny. Because he lost. Don't be afraid of losing. Aww. No, not necessarily. Right. How strong do I have to become to say farewell to this frustration? Oh my god! It never ends! It's frustrating and painful forever. Oh my god! His face! Oh my god! This is Madoka Magica! Do you have fun? Oh. Oh my god. Do you have fun? Ah! Oh my god. Oh my god. Self-sufficiency. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Does he have fun though? He can't answer that question. Oh wow. What is this? What is this? What is this? This animation style is totally different. Wow. Wow, he didn't know that. Why does he look 30 there? Soya has a winning rate of 70%. Oh. Kumakura. Ooh. Yeah, do we know Kumakura? It sounds like a bear. Yeah. What's going on in his mind? But he seemed like he was almost sad that Shimada lost to him. Oh, there we go. Kingo Kumakura. He was in the end of season 1. Oh, wow. He looks a bit intimidating. Oh. Like snow. Wow, everyone there looks so grim. Wow. Did Soya win or lose the first match? The chairman with his pinstripes, of course. I'm sure. Ooh, all the trophies. Really? When you seriously mock your opponent. And they seem like they've known each other a long time. Ah. Uh-huh. It sounds like a boxing match they're describing. I love these two old men talking about it. Uh-huh. Ooh, I liked the chairman following the moves on the TV. That was really cool. Huh. Ooh, I love that. Ah, is Shimada watching them from somewhere too? Ooh. There he is. Uh-huh. Ooh, interesting. So, Ramune. Ramune? What kind of dessert would Soya like? Would he like the strawberry shortcake or the lemon or the chocolate? Or is that just for him? It's just for him! What is this, like JoJo's? What? No etiquette! Oh my god, why did you put the whole thing in his mouth? This feels like someone's kink. Oh, that was slightly inappropriate to watch. Like a damn bear. And then just sip the tea. Yeah, he just requested snacks. Oh, kind of like L. Yeah. So it's kind of like L from Death Note. He always ate sweets all the time to keep his brain going. Are those pure sugar cubes? Oh my god. Yeah, he put like 20 sugar cubes and 3 lemons in that tea. Oh my god, and of course the science nerds are like, oh my god, look at this! Uh, yeah, well, his name does mean bear. And he would do it because it's a broadcast, right? The snack time. And he could put away the booze, too. Huh. Right. A dull man. Oh, it's just glucose. Interesting. They's just bland. Oh. Ah. Yep, and that was the one from last season. Oh. Shimada, my sweet. He could have done something. I mean, he made it look easy. Who won the first match? Uh, oh. Oh. You could use it during your matches. Who ended up winning? Oh, experimental food sampler. Don't worry about it. Yeah, you guys are just making your own food. Uh-huh. Oh, it's all part of science. Don't you worry, Teach. Oh my god. Ah! What? Homemade ramen? Don't try this at home, kids. Okay. 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 Ah. What is it? Oh. You got shogi pills, my friend. Is it gonna taste disgusting? He does like natto, though. Aww! Aww! Yay! Oh, how cute! He can take his ramune with him. Aww. The wonders of science. What else would you call it, sir? Aww. Aww. I love Ray hanging out with them. And making some himself. Aww. That's so cute. He actually gets to make it with them. Aww. This is so sweet. Yes, let him be a kid and have this moment. Aww. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Don't you frown about this. Yeah. You've come so far. Oh. Is he gonna be like crying tears of joy? Yeah. Yeah. Aww. Aww. Yeah. I'm like, is Kyoko gonna show up and just wreck everything? It's too quiet. There we go. Aww. Aww. Wow, that's like the first, like, it's not bitter. That was a great overall episode. Hell yes. Oh, wow. Wow, I really like that. And our boy Ray growing. Uh. I don't know why Ray has to be shirtless, but alright. With the ocean liner? I love he has the umbrella there. Interesting. I like this. It's very conceptual. And him getting blown away. Oh, like a puppet. Oh, wow. Interesting. Oh, there we go. Uh. Uh. Aw. Oh, how cute. Uh-huh. It's busy. That's so cute. So freaking cute. Shut the frick up, y'all. Are we watching the same series? I'm sorry. I feel like I should be happy with it. I should be totally fine with it. I kept thinking that I was like, oh, well, is something bad going to happen this episode? Especially when Ray was walking home slowly the whole way. I was like, is he going to like stumble across Kyoko? Because we've been having a really good episode. Things are going well for Ray. I'm like, I've become Stockholm syndrome by this show to believe that when something good is happening to Ray, something bad is going to happen to counterbalance it. In this episode, it was like, you're just sitting here like defending yourself, Charlie's Angel style the whole time. And then you're like, oh okay. He's actually gonna have a happy day for one time in one episode. Awesome. Good. Keep those good vibes from episode 22 going, let me tell you. But yeah, so awesome. Well, I didn't feel the need to bring out Whiteboard Kun this time because really the Meijin tournament's the only thing that's kind of, we meet Kumakawa or Kumakura. Kumakura is our newest shogi player who was kind of previewed at the end of episode 22, but here he is in episode 23. So awesome. This definitely does feel like season 2, like the first season getting Ray kind of in a more stable place. And here he actually gets to have a normal day as a high schooler having fun. You would think that that's the bare bones standard, but here we are. And it is such a great moment of growth for Ray's character, and I'm really all about it. Now, do I think that Ray is going to be free of all worries from here on in, and that season 2 he's not going to have any down or angsty moments? Oh, hell no. No, I'm sure he will. Oh, I'm sure he will. But I was really glad that we started out the season with just a nice, fun episode showing how much Ray has grown, showing so many different aspects of Ray's growth. I probably should have brought Whiteboard Goon out. But we'll compare it as we go, and maybe next week I'll bring it out, just to have fun with it. But so just a few things to tell the difference. In season 1, Ray oftentimes slept on the ground. He slept on a futon, and that was maybe more of a cultural difference than anything, which it's not to say that was bad or worse. But here, he's actually sleeping on the bed, and it looks like it's kind of things are clean around him. He has his bottle of water, his shogi board out. But I love when he says that when he opens up the window and the breeze rolls in, the wind is warm, it's like he doesn't feel like recoiling from the window when he gets the warm breeze and the light shining through, right? Which is such a difference from season 1. And I like that it's May of 2008. Okay, so we do get a year. Oh, good. We get a timeline. So it's May of 2008. Was a good year. So, wow. And it's all rainbow and everything. So, okay. So it's taking place during 2008. That explains the phone technology. That explains a lot of things. Okay. Awesome. Good. We get a timeline of when this actually takes place. How nostalgic. I was in college during that time. That doesn't seem that long ago, but it kind of is. Ooh, was that 16 years ago? Gross. Who wants that, right? But it shows him with the shogi boards. And I do like that, again, you get the reflection of the ocean and the lake waves. Not the ocean, but you get the reflection of the lake and the river through there. But again, we've used the metaphor of the ocean to be negative in the past, of Ray drowning in it or feeling like he's submerged and stuck underwater where he can't breathe. And here, the kind of lakeside reflection of the water is viewed in a more positive light. So I like that. I like that kind of transition that we have. And then he says it's May, so he's got a month left to go before the newcomer battles and the tournament start. So we've got some time left to go for that. Yep. And so we got about a month to go. And he's like, and I'm Ray. This is where I live. I'm C1 5th Dan, 18 years old. And my profession is pro shogi player. Shaft got an upgrade for this season. Everything, I'm kind of torn because on the one end, I really think the animation looks beautiful. Like everything is clean. It's very crisp. The colors are very saturated. It has a very high quality look to it. There is a part of me, though, that kind of really liked the raw, unfiltered animation of season 1, and that it didn't look so cleanly. It looked kind of more rough and rugged, but I can't complain. This looks amazing, so I won't complain for Shaft getting an upgrade. I just kind of like the grungy feel of the first season, but this is fine. The OP and ED, they're very colorful. They're very vibrant. I like that a lot. I like the sisters and Ray are kind of the focal point here. There's lots of rainbows and sunlight and rain and moonlight and stars and tears. Definitely the ending where it looks like Ray is like trying to grasp the rainbow and hug it and he misses it. That part there I'm going to be curious about as we go through the series, what that butterfly represents and him reaching for it. That's going to be interesting. So Komahashi Private High School, I didn't realize it was a private high school. I don't know if that makes a difference. I don't know the Japanese school system and how private versus public works. Usually if it's a private high school in the US, you have to pay to go there, or you're sectioned a certain area to be eligible to go there. Whereas public is pretty much anybody in that area. So I'm curious about that. But yeah, so we have it's May, everybody's, I like the kids on the chalkboard there where it says Star World, and they like have the Death Star and the TIE Fighters and Yoda with a Christmas beanie on, even though it's May, and like Darth Vader as a cat. That is all absolutely hilarious. I kind of love that. I love the chalk drawings. And the science club activities have finally begun. Yep, it's the middle of summer almost, or it's the end of spring, about to be the start of summer. I love the animation style changes too, where Noguchi looks very like astute and realistic, and then it goes to like the most cartoony. Meanwhile, Hayashida is trying to play someone on the computer and he's failing miserably, but the difference is Rei is like mediating and overseeing Noguchi and this one science club student playing a game, and they're going over the rules and how they can like make moves back and forth, and Rei's just overseeing it and providing guidance because it's just a practice game, whereas Hayashida is actually playing and Rei's like, I'm not helping you, that's called cheating, you're a teacher, you should understand that. So we have Uda-kun. Uda. So Uda is the one, and I like they put Shogi Science Club on the back of their like jackets. It's great. So we have Uda, and then of course we have Noguchi, and they're both reading the former homeroom teacher. I like that he's just in the corner muttering to himself. But we have Uda and we have Noguchi trying to like play a game of Shogi and figure out the best strategy. I love that this first part of the episode was called Sun Setting Sun, and it's just, although Crunchyroll, get your subtitles together, like the title is like setting and it's misspelled. I'm like, what we doing? But I like that as the episode goes on, the sun does start to set and everything ends in this brilliant red color. Red sky at night, sailor's delight. So the red contrasts really well with Soya, which the Japanese flag is white with red, so makes sense. And so as right now, if we look at it, it's just right around, what time is it? It's 3:30, right? Is what it is. It's 3:30, so it's right when school's getting out. And he's like, I don't know what to do. What's so fascinating about this episode is that the two of them in the science club, they lament over their defeat and how painful it is. And for the first time, Rei, and the one guy that won is like panting, and they're like, you know, for the first time, they're like, it's because I'm never subjected to such severe wins or losses in everyday life. Yeah, the science club, they just do experiments, and if the experiments don't go right, they're like, that wasn't of any consequence. We'll just start over. But they never really have to worry about it. Meanwhile, you have, in Rei's case, and with Shogi, the losses, they have, like, dire consequences of whether you get money or whether you can still keep up. So it shows them, like, going back and forth with the moves. I do like that Noguchi, he kind of made like different moves into a little strategy book, and it very much looks like flashcards that you would study for on a science test. So he's applied what he knows to the moment. But what's so funny is like Shogi proverb cards by Noguchi. And he's like, I even made these proverb cards. And Rei, for the first time in his life, gets to oversee a match, and there's no consequence to him. So the loss does not personally impact him. And so he's all rosy-cheeked. So Rei can be a little bit of a sadist. And especially in where he describes this, they're like, you know, how these losses feel. He's like, you know, even if I come up with a countermeasure, I've got to keep coming up with a countermeasure to the countermeasure, and then just keep modifying it. And they're like, is there no end to it? And Rei's like, well, no, there is no end to it. He's like, am I going to feel this futile and fruitless forever? And he's like, yes, that's what I've been dealing with this entire last season. And now I get to express it to you all. It's like Rei gets to cathartically express and through therapeutic practice shogi matches, like let them know just how this feels. So Rei's like, you know, your opponent isn't going to go by a book. And he's like, you just have to be careful as you proceed. And I love how it like gets instantly dark and you can just see Rei's glasses. Amazing. And he's like, here's what you do. And he's like, just don't as you do that, try not let your pieces be captured. Like Rei's just going through with the shogi board. Your goal is to capture the opponent's king. And so you should surround yourself. I'm glad that we still have Nikaido's like cats as examples. That's really, really cute. And of course, Noguchi's like, but if I do this, then this is going to happen. Rei's like, yeah, it's a constant struggle all the time. I also like how in the amount of time they all work together, they're able to play some shogi, but they're also available to do a science experiment. That's really cool. So it kind of shows how the club's dynamic works, where they do both at the same time. And he's like, yeah, you're right. He's like, and it shows the two cats' forces working together. He's like, yeah, if you take a risk, it may come back to bite you and you'll be exposed. So it's an eternal balance between attacking and defending. He's like, but you just have to play lots of times so that you can remember things. It's kind of like a pattern or doing math. You have to keep, if you don't use it, you lose it. So you don't only learn from books, but you can play on the internet. And then he's like, you can just enjoy playing at home in a relaxed environment. I'm like, Ray, when have you ever played at home in a relaxed environment? You're always stressed. So yeah, Ray makes it sound like he's like, yeah, everything's fine with Shogi. And I'm like, season 1, you were like on the precipice every episode. And now you're like, you just relax at home and play Shogi. It's like, really? Really? And so then of course Hayashida's like, well, aren't you going to help me? And he's like, no. He's like, that would be cheating, teacher. And we can't do that. I like that Hayashida's like, you're being stingy. And he's like, aren't you, didn't you teach us we shouldn't cheat at all? But he runs out of time to make the move. He's like, don't be afraid of losing. If you don't play a lot, you can't get a feel for it. This is huge for Ray. This is such a giant step forward for Ray. For Ray to go from someone who was so anxious and worried about each match and how it would go and didn't seem like he was enjoying it. It was just doing it for survival. For him to go from that to essentially being Shimada's pupil and learning from him to being in an environment where he's teaching others, that's kind of crazy. And that's like a huge step for Ray. Like those are some big steps. And he's like, if you stop getting frustrated at losing, then you'll stop studying. He's like, you need to lose so that you'll get frustrated and keep motivating yourself. And the science students are just like, wait, what? They're like, but how long do I have to become before saying farewell to this frustration? How strong do I have to be before I can say farewell to this frustration? Golden. Hilarious. And Ray's like, oh, well, even if you get strong, you're always going to play against somebody you're going to lose to. And when that happens, it can be frustrating and your innards turn inside out. And they're like, what? And they're like, it'll never end. And he's like, no, it's forever frustrating and forever painful. Except when you win. And then, of course, I love how Ray's face just gets, like, the background is pixelated, like when you see a cockroach or something that they want to censor in Japanese, that it's, like, so foul you don't want to see it. And it's just Ray getting more and more sadistic. He's like, the stronger you get, the more bitter defeat tastes when you lose. And then we see his face there, and he's like, in fact, the more time you spend on it, the more frustrating it gets. And, like, the eyelashes make his face look even creepier. It was like some Puella Magi Madoka Magica vibes. Yeah. And then he's like, the more you progress, the more frustrated you'll be. It's manic. It's wild. Like, I get some, like, scary Soya moments there from Ray. And then Hayashida says, now hold on. Do you have fun when you play Shogi? And Ray's like, fun? He's like, no, it's a never-ending pit of despair. What are you talking about? So, we've made a lot of progress with Ray. We've made progress and gotten to this point, which is amazing. But Ray is far from being at his peak ideal state. He still doesn't know why he's playing Shogi, and it's not fun to him yet. It's just a means of survival. But he's making progress. He's getting there. And he just kind of gets frozen on the spot, and Noguchi makes him some, like, tea, but it ends up being like a diuretic, and it makes him go to the bathroom. And that's when the instructor talks to him about, him being a professional shogi player. The TV screen with the actors and like the murder mystery on the train, that was a weird segue. It was very creepy. And it almost had like this uncanny valley effect because it looked like, if you ever try to take a picture of your computer screen or TV screen, the way that the photo works, it doesn't quite, I don't know, I can't explain to you the science of it, but I understand the science of it, where something is in the radio waves or something is causing a disruption where it won't quite film it perfectly. And the way that they do is like the screen over it makes it look exactly like that, right? It's very uncanny and bizarre and kind of creepy, if I'm being honest. Very creepy. And then they like go back to where the shogi match is going to be aired on TV. And so Noguchi says he didn't realize that Ray was doing this professionally. He didn't realize like how grown up Ray had to become. And I like how mature Noguchi looks in this moment when they do a close-up on him, because we've always seen him kind of as cartoonish or chibi. But here, when they actually show his face, like, he's got the mustache, but I know 18-year-olds that can grow a mustache. And he's older, so he's like 19, right? If he's already a third year. So he's kind of like, man, you know, Kiriyama's already grown up at this point. And Hayashida's like, yeah, that's kind of why I had this team come about. He's already living in the harsh world of victories and defeats. Yep. And then Hayashida, you know, Hayashida points out something very interesting, that Soya, who we have such high esteem for and who we think is like the best of the best, like that seems in season 1, Soya seemed nigh untouchable. Hayashida's like, even the best player, Soya, Meijin Soya, has a winning rate of 70%. That's still a 30% odds that you can beat him is still a lot more odds than I expected to see, right? That's still way better. He's like, he loses 3 out of 10 matches. If you look at it that way, 3 out of 10, it makes you feel real bad for Shimada, who got stuck with the 4 matches that he lost. So we have the Meijin battle, Toji versus Kumakura, the second match. And so he's won the 7 crowns, right? They're broadcasting his match. Well, did he lose the first match or win the first match? It's the second match for the Meijin battle. Okay, he lost to Kumakura. Okay. So Soya lost to Kumakura. I missed that line there. Okay. The stronger you get, the more bitter defeat tastes. So when somebody at his level loses, what's going on in his mind? That's really interesting, because I think that, you know, in season 1, the big thing was that Soya was kind of mad that he won against Shimada, because he wanted Shimada to be better than that. He wanted Shimada to see the move that he saw, and he wanted to keep playing Shimada. He didn't want the battles to end, and they did, but he wasn't going to, you know, concede for Shimada. Here, we have Kingo Kumakura, the 9th Dan, in the room. He is freaking intense. He is intense. I thought the dragon from last season was intense. This man is like, he's so intense, and he just looks very, very serious. And then Soya enters the room, and everyone there looks so serious. So the match begins at 9. I like that at first we see Soya with the water and the tea, but Kumakura doesn't have anything next to him. So then we see the older gentleman that I believe we've seen before. I believe that Ray has faced him, correct? And then, of course, the chairman. There was a moment when, because I've been wanting to see the chairman and how he plays, because he comes off as such a goofball, but I'm like, no, you're a shogi master. You have to be really good to get to that point. And there was a moment during the Soya and Kumakura game. It was just a little brief second, but Soya like made a move on the table, and you saw the chairman's eyes like watch that piece and watch that move, and I was like, oh. It was like a moment where he got really serious, and I was like, ooh, okay. You saw like the curtain drop for a second, and like the chairman puts on this big happy personality, like, I'm just here for a party. But in that one little moment, he got dead serious looking at the screen, and you're like, ooh, okay, all right. You could see that seriousness come out, and I was like, oh, I want to see where this goes. But it says Soya will be coming for you in the Kisho tournament. So I also like that it's this other world, right? Like, Ray is in the C category with Nikaido, and they're trying to work their way up to B. But then you get to, like, the A rankers, like Shimada, you get to, like, the heavy hitters, and it's like a whole nother world. Like, these guys are masters of shogi. They have like been playing for years and years. The one guy is nearly 60, has probably been playing for 50 plus years. And they just, that's like they eat and breathe it, right? At that point, you're living, eating, and breathing the sport. And they're just on another level. And I think that's so cool when you meet people that are that kind of professional. And what's cool about shogi in relation to like basketball or football or whatever is contact sports like that, eventually your body physically cannot compete in them. like whether it's swimming, whether it's running, whether it's basketball or whatever, eventually your body physically is like, I cannot do this to the level you want me to do it anymore. It's just not possible. And that kind of limits the audience that participates in that sport. Whereas something like shogi, you can play until you're like over 60, and it almost reward. Whereas contact sports and athletics, they punish you for age. Sports like shogi, they kind of reward you for your age. It keeps building your experience, and you just get better and better with age, presumably, theoretically. Whereas a sport like basketball is going to punish you after a while because you can't do it anymore. So I think that that's absolutely fascinating. But yeah, so they're sitting there eating, and in this room, all these shogi awards just surrounding them, right, to kind of set the mood. And what does he say there? The opponent, he's like, oh, I'm looking forward to it. And he says, Soya has a cute face, but it'll come to break my bones. I love that. I love that he says Soya he comes across very naive and gentle, but he will devour you if you let him. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't seem scared by Soya. He seems to like respect him. And he's like, well, that's because the casual moves you make mock your opponent. And I love that they're kind of hinting that the style of this one guy, his style is kind of mocking the opponents because it seems very normal. And he's like, mock, I'm very serious when I play. And you can see up here, there is like something about the 36 to the 50. I don't know if that's talking about like the 36th shogi tournament or something like that, but showing the passage of time. And he's like, you seriously mock your opponent. And he's like, well, if I can win a slugfest, then I'll start throwing punches. I love these two old men sitting there going back and forth being like, I know your style. And he's like, oh, I know. But if I'm being serious, that means I respect my opponent. And it's just another world, right? And Ray doesn't even know about this world yet. He's like, but now it's tough on me physically. He's like, I'll probably croak in the ring. They're treating it like it's a boxing match. And he's like, when your opponent goes all out, you don't get hurt. When you hit him with everything you've got, he returns your blows at the same time. Soya is happy to have an opponent like that in Kumakura. Vice versa, Kumakura is happy with Soya. They're both thinking that their opponent is a toy that won't break no matter how hard they spin it around. Yeah, we're like in the world of the players that they're not afraid to go all out because they know the other person can handle it. They're like, we can play rough because we know the other person can deal with it and can deal it right back. And it's like, I love this new world of shogi is opening up, and it's like, ooh, it's like layers in between layers and between layers. Also, the animation just looks great, like them in the sunset of them watching them play on the TV, and Ray just like looking at the TV with his whole body silhouetted. He's like, right now Shimada's watching the same match too, and he is our sweet Shimada in the setting sun watching Soya. Bless his heart. Yep. So then we have the cakes come in. This lemon cupcake, this chocolate cake, and strawberry shortcake. The lemon and strawberry shortcake I love. I'm allergic to cocoa, so the chocolate would kill me. But they have a fork wrapped up there for him to use. And he just grabs it and just eats the cake like a freaking bear. Like Yogi Bear going to town on a camp picnic. Like just... And all these characters with these green eyes, they're just like... He's so intense. And then and they're all like, wow, no manners at all. He just gobbles it up. Just needs the sugar right then and there. And then Soya, he just grabs like all of these, like just regular glucose cubes, straight up glucose, and just drops like 12 of them into his tea with like 3 slices of lemon. It's like, that's the Gatorade. That is the electrolytes. That's the fatigue curing drink of choice to help them get through this match. And it goes back to, if you've ever watched Death Note, one of the main characters, Death Note, L, he's a detective, and he eats lots of sweets. That's what he does all the time. And it's to, like, stimulate his brain to help solve cases. And it's like, got it. But yeah, Kuma having this appetite. I like the chairman kind of gets onto Kumakura. He kind of, like, goes, yeah, he's famous for it when on these tournament broadcasts. Like the chairman gets a little snippy where he's kind of like, yeah, he's doing it in the public just as a show. And I'm like... You are one to talk, sir. So I'm very curious how the chairman does his matches, if he's kind of like, they always show snack time. Like, he's kind of like, almost above it. And they're like, well, Kuma can put away the booze too. And what does he say there? He says, this is the man who eats cakes while emptying a bottle of sweet potato shochu. That does not seem like it wouldn't go together. And then Soya they describe as a dull man. That he's just very bland. Soya just seems... I don't think Soya is dull personally, because he has a beautiful like snow themed and he's quiet and reserved, but there's like an intensity to him. I think that he's just very pragmatic and just no frills. It's just, this is what Soya is. What you see is what you get. And there's no like extravagant frills or pomp and circumstance with Soya. It's just boom, there he is. That's what he is. And that's all there is to it. But yeah, again, he sends the chairman to go get his glucose cubes, so that's interesting. That contrast between Soya in the all white and Shimada with his like hair sweat like dripping down across his face. I feel for poor Shimada. I really do. And then he's like, at 4-0, Soya made it look easy. But even the title holder must be desperate. So yeah. And so the end, okay, what did it say? It was like 69 moves. Is that correct? Or the 69th battle. So round 2 ended. But they didn't say who won, did they? They didn't tell us who won the match. Dang it. So we don't know for sure. I want to know. So then they talk about making RAMUNE, which is just like glucose and starch. They just like little fizzy snacks. I feel like they're kind of like mint, but not, because it's just starch and glucose. Like they're just little like candies. I love that. I love how Yoshida's like, all you guys do is make food and stuff, and Noguchi's like, we're high school science students. What are we supposed to do? You want us to make like chemical poisons? Like what are we supposed to do in this science class? We gotta do high school things. Making food is the easiest and safest thing for us to do. Come on now, are we just gonna dissect bugs? I do love the little, the logo that looks hand-colored of the beaker, and Hayashida and all of them are like, oh yeah, today's science. And they make it in 20 minutes. This is super cute. But what was the most cute about it was that just like how Rei teaches Noguchi and the others to play shogi, Noguchi and the others, they teach Rei how to make the RAMUNE that he can take to matches with him, like taking a piece of his science club and a piece of something he's made himself to the match itself, which is super cool. But it's also like letting Rei have the experience of being a high school student and being in a science club and doing a club activity. Like, I love that this is setting up in this season that we're just letting Rei be a high school kid, which is what he needs to be. Like, he has the weight of the world on his shoulders anyway because of all the matches, but this actually lets him in that moment just be a high school kid. And it's so awesome. I love it. I love it so much. It's great. So yeah. And they're like, all right. And then he just eats it. I love that. I also love that Rei is showing more of his emotion and becoming more expressive and just like waving his arms and having the blushy face. Like Rei's come so far from the start of season 1 where he was just kind of doom and gloom. And he has that frown face for just a moment. For just a moment he had that frown face. And then he turns that shit upside down when he realizes he's laughing and smiling and having these like experiences. And he looks so happy and cheerful there. And Noguchi's like, hey, knowing the experiment worked and you're experiencing the wonders of science, that's what this club's all about. It's so sweet. And I just love that Rei nearly cries because he realizes how good this experience is. Like having this moment as it starts to get dark outside. Yeah. Like he's like, I'm happy and having a great time at school. And then the look on his face with the sparkles and he has like the tears in his eyes. The RAMUNE is sweet. They did a lot of close-ups on lips in this episode, especially like Akari's glossy lips. I was like, all right, Shaft. Instead of like head turns, it's like lip close-ups. but him being like, I felt this lump in my throat. Like, I love the idea that Kiriyama, he didn't say he didn't deserve this moment. He's like, I thought something was going to leak from my eyes, and I used every ounce of will to hold it in. And you can hear in that moment when he says, can I take this home? You could hear the voice actor's like voice breaking, like he's about to cry, but he's holding it in. I was waiting for Ray to say that he didn't deserve it. And I was going to be like, no, you do deserve this happiness, Ray. Everybody deserves this as a high school kid. You deserve this happiness for all you go through. But he doesn't say he doesn't deserve it. And to me, that is a huge win. That is a huge win for Ray to not say that about himself. And I love that he puts it up in a little scrap of notebook paper and puts it in his bag, and he heads home. And he's like, I thought Hina and Momo would enjoy them if I shared it with them. And the whole way he's going down that city into their house, I'm like, I swear to you, if Kyoko breaks this up, I'm going to be so mad. But no, it doesn't happen. He makes it to their house, and they see it, and he's like, I want to share. And like that moment where Hina and Ray smile at each other. Like, I know some people will just say that they're just like foster siblings, like they're just friends. They're not really siblings because you have Kyoko and him as siblings, but some people might say they're just friends. It's platonic, and I totally respect that. Or if you ship it and you're like, it's the forming of a ship between Hina and Ray, I totally get that too. I'm kind of indifferent at the moment. I like the idea of Hina and Ray being a ship. I'm okay with the idea of Akari and Ray being a ship. I think either one works. But I also like the fact of them just being a family and being his like his other family, his third family. I'm totally fine with that. Or just friends. I'm fine with, whether it becomes romantic or platonic, I'm fine with that. The ED is interesting because it's painting like it does the snapshot thing, and that's cool to me. Also, I'm not sure how I feel about Ray I don't mind Ray like laying down with the vines coming up, but then there's like Ray with his pants undone and he's shirtless. I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know how to feel about that at all. So we'll just see where that goes. But I do think it's a very artistic ED. I like it. It's very abstract and very conceptual. I'll be curious to see where we go with it, but like the puppet at the end on the marionette, that part interests me a lot. But then we have the after credits scene where we have them actually tasting the RAMUNE that he makes. And of course, Akari and all them really like it. The cats are all asleep. It's really super cute. It has the same like bubbles of wonder and happiness throughout. The shooting star, everything's all perfect and cute. Cannot complain. And so then we have the end card. And I wonder if we're going to go through the same artists that we did for season 1, because here for episode 23 we have Miura, Kentaro Miura, who is the mangaka for Berserk. This is very interesting to me. This does not. I've read Dinkari, which is or Dinkai, which is a later piece of manga by Miura, and the art style for Dinkai or Durankai, the art style for Durankai kind of looks more like this. This almost looks kind of 3D. It doesn't quite look like Berserk as I'm reading it now, but how I'm reading it now is also probably not from the same time period as when Miura drew this. So this seems more modern. So I'm going to be very curious to see how Miura's art style develops in Berserk. Don't spoil me. I'll get there. But this looks definitely more 3D, which is interesting. It has a more 3D element to it. It still looks like Miura, but it does also look a little bit different. So I'm kind of fascinated. Very intrigued by it. But I really like their kimonos. I think they all fit them perfectly. I think they all look perfect for them. I'm surprised, if I'm being honest, that Miura didn't draw Akari as busty as she normally is, especially for Miura. So good for you. I'm just kind of curious about it. All right. But in any case, I'm super excited that we've started season 2. I cannot wait to see where this season goes. I'm already so proud of Ray. So proud of him and his development. But I'm sure he's going to go through trials and tribulations, but I'm glad that his support network is here, and it seems to make him be in a better place. So let's keep our hopes up about that. So in any case, I'm curious to hear your thoughts down below. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back really soon with more March Comes In Like a Lion.